George Washington was born on February 22, 1732, in Westmoreland County, Virginia, into a family of modest plantation owners. From an early age, he exhibited leadership qualities and a strong sense of responsibility. Although he had limited formal education, he gained valuable knowledge in mathematics, surveying, and the classics. As a young man, he worked as a land surveyor before beginning his military career during the French and Indian War, where he earned respect for his bravery and tactical ability. Washington's most enduring legacy began with the American Revolutionary War. Appointed Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army in 1775, he led the colonial forces through years of hardship, strategic retreats, and crucial victories, most notably the Battle of Trenton and the Siege of Yorktown in 1781, which ultimately secured American independence. His unwavering dedication to the cause and refusal to seize power set him apart from many leaders of his time. After the war, Washington returned to private life at Mount Vernon, his estate in Virginia. However, recognizing the fragile state of the new nation, he presided over the Constitutional Convention of 1787, playing a vital role in the drafting of the United States Constitution. In 1789, he was unanimously elected as the first President of the United States, serving 2 terms. His presidency set many important precedents, including the formation of a cabinet and the peaceful transfer of power. Washington refused a 3rd term, cementing the principle of civilian leadership and democratic governance. He retired in 1797 and returned to Mount Vernon, where he died on December 14, 1799, at the age of 67. His death was mourned across the world, and his legacy as a leader, patriot, and symbol of freedom remains firmly etched in history. The critical rescue of George Washington Emergency Room, arrival and triage. At 4:23 p.m., sirens wailed through the city as a medical ambulance rushed into Liberty General Hospital. Inside was a man of historic stature, General George Washington, first President of the United States, critically injured. Paramedics had stabilized his vitals en route, but he remained in grave condition. Upon arrival, the trauma team, led by Dr. Allison Grant, Chief of Emergency Medicine, moved swiftly. George Washington was placed on a stretcher and rolled into the trauma bay. His pulse was erratic, and oxygen saturation was dangerously low. Nurse Catherine Lynn, applying oxygen through a non-rebreather mask, noted severe thoracic bruising and internal bleeding. Vitals were logged, IV lines established, and blood samples drawn. Within minutes, George was prepped for advanced imaging, radiology wing, MRI, CT, and ultrasound. In the radiology department, Washington underwent a rapid MRI scan, revealing compromised cardiac muscle integrity. The CT scan showed hemorrhaging in the chest cavity and pericardial effusion. The ultrasound of his abdomen confirmed no organ rupture, but cardiac function was severely diminished. Dr. Ramesh Kulkarni, senior cardiologist, reviewed the imaging. His face grew grim. "We're looking at acute heart failure," he said. "This man needs immediate open heart surgery. Operating theatre. First heart surgery." By 5:07 p.m., George Washington was wheeled into Operating Theatre 3. The surgical team assembled. Dr. Ramesh Kulkarni, lead cardiothoracic surgeon, Dr. Helen Ortiz, assistant surgeon, Dr. Aaron Blake, anesthesiologist, nurse Rachel Fong, surgical, assistant nurse Maxine Silva, instrument technician, Dr. Blake, induced anesthesia as vitals stabilized. Dr. Kulkarni performed a median stenotomy, exposing the heart. A bypass machine was connected to sustain circulation, while surgeons worked to repair the severely damaged myocardium. The delicate procedure lasted 4 hours and 22 minutes. Artificial valve grafts were inserted, blood vessels patched, and arrhythmic sections cauterized. Post-op recovery room. Chest pain complication. By 9:45 p.m., George was stable enough to move into the post-operative recovery unit, but within 40 minutes, he began exhibiting signs of acute chest pain and dyspnea. Nurse Lynn, monitoring his ECG, noticed irregular spikes. She paged Dr. Ortiz immediately. "He's guarding his chest." "I don't like the look of this," she said. Dr. Ortiz ordered a portable chest X-ray and bedside ultrasound. Results were shocking. A foreign object was visible in the thoracic cavity. A surgical scissor had been inadvertently left behind. Emergency re-entry to OR. Surgical error addressed. Without delay, George Washington was returned to the operating theatre. Dr. Kulkarni and Dr. Ortiz, devastated by the oversight, reopened the sternum. They located and removed the surgical instrument, irrigated the cavity, and closed the chest with precision. This second surgery lasted nearly 2 hours and pushed Washington's body to its limits. His heart rhythm wavered, but with expert defibrillation and blood transfusions, his condition stabilized. ICU, blood transfusions, and critical care. Transferred to intensive care unit room 7, George was intubated and placed on assisted ventilation. His hemoglobin levels had plummeted. The decision was made to transfuse 8 units of O-negative blood, compatible with his group, and administer continuous IV drips of saline, antibiotics, and pain medication. Around-the-clock monitoring continued. Every hour, his vital signs were re-unevaluated. Nurses rotated shifts, while respiratory therapist Carlos Menendez checked lung function metrics. By morning, the rhythm of beeping monitors had steadied. George was still critical, but no longer unstable. Transfer to private suite. Family visit. By day 3, George was strong enough to be moved into a private recovery suite. Adjacent to the ICU, walls adorned with calming historical portraits, the room was equipped with cardiac monitoring, oxygen lines, and backup defibrillators. His wife Martha Washington and 2 close aides from the Revolutionary War were granted supervised visits. They sat by his bedside, holding his hand as he began to regain consciousness. Dr. Ortiz updated the family. "He's responding to treatment. We expect gradual improvement." Crowds and police security. Outside Liberty General, news of George Washington's hospitalization had spread. Hundreds of supporters, veterans, and civilians gathered, chanting prayers and holding flags. The hospital's administration contacted local law enforcement. Police Commissioner Daniel Reeves dispatched security to maintain order. Temporary barricades were set up, and press briefings issued to control panic. To calm the public, doctors arranged a brief wheelchair appearance by Georgia Washington. George speaks, a message to the nation. Escorted by nurses and a medical aide, George was wheeled to a balcony inside the hospital atrium, visible through the lobby's glass walls. Though visibly weak, his voice carried strength. George Washington, voice imitation. Freedom is not a gift. It is a right earned through courage and unity. I thank you all for your support and assure you I shall return to serve the cause of liberty and justice. The crowd erupted in applause. Medical staff gently wheeled him back for continued observation. Final recovery discharge. and farewell. By day 12, George Washington's cardiac function had improved remarkably. Say, final set of MRI, CT, and blood panel tests confirmed near complete recovery. Dr. Kulkarni entered his room one last time. General, you're officially ready for discharge. Washington, sitting upright, smiled warmly and gestured. The full medical team, nurses, doctors, and aides gathered around his bed. George Washington, voice imitation. I salute you not as my caregivers, but as the protectors of humanity's greatest gift, life. Your skill, devotion, and courage have saved me, just as our nation was once saved on the battlefield. He further added, to get freedom, bring justice, equity, equality in the society. Nations have the powers to revolutionize in the country, if to live with pride. All the team of doctors appreciated his words and clapped. At 2 p.m., he was discharged under escort, leaving the hospital in a specialized ambulance equipped with mobile ECG monitoring. As it pulled away, crowds waved flags, knowing that the father of the nation had once again survived against all odds. Mr. George Washington was released honorably with the arrangement of a special ambulance. Before leaving the hospital, he thanked the team of nurses and doctors and went to his home on an ambulance in good health. Closing paragraphs. After a long and intensive battle for survival, General George Washington, the iconic founding father of the United States, was finally declared stable and on the path to recovery. Surrounded by a team of dedicated physicians, skilled surgeons, and compassionate nurses, he had endured a critical open-heart surgery, a surprise reoperation, multiple rounds of diagnostic testing, and significant post-operative care. His resilience in the face of overwhelming odds reminded everyone, medical staff, family, and fellow citizens alike, that true leadership is not only demonstrated on the battlefield or in the halls of government, but also in one's strength of character and will to live. As he sat up in his hospital bed, dressed in a hospital gown, but commanding presence with his calm dignity, he personally thanked each member of the medical team, acknowledging their courage, precision, and unwavering commitment. When hospital, administrators informed him that he could be discharged. A specially equipped ambulance was arranged. As he was wheeled out of the hospital, the corridors echoed with respectful silence. Outside, a crowd of admirers, supporters, and veterans of the Revolutionary War stood behind barriers, some with tears in their eyes, others waving American flags in reverence. Stepping into the sunlight, Washington paused briefly in his wheelchair, looked upon the people with gratitude, and addressed them in a steady voice. In unity, we found strength. In hardship, we found freedom. And today, in recovery, I find hope. He was then carefully helped into the ambulance, which departed under full escort. Though physically weakened, his spirit remained indomitable, a living symbol of endurance, liberty, and the undying heartbeat of a nation he helped create. His discharge was not just from a hospital, but a powerful reminder that great leaders endure not only in history, but in the hearts of those who continue to believe in justice, freedom, and healing.